Good everything. It's about 12 noon. We're at low 70 degrees. It's a bit windy. Finally got a break from the rain we've been having, so I figured I'd come out here and do a bit of harvesting. We got green peas. I'm gonna get to some tomatoes. That's what I've harvested so far. Yeah, I said green peas, green beans. The peas are drying up, so I'm gonna let them continue to dry. I have tomatoes by the tons that's dropping, and I need to harvest so I can have some stuff for the pantry. The Anastasia beans have also started to dry up, but I'm gonna let them dry. These are on the ground, but they're still not dry, so that's a good thing. I can't wait to harvest those. I got a few dry pods here. I'll let them keep drying up as well. Now, sorrel is looking good. The cowlicks have finally started to plump up, so I'm happy about that. And I could probably do another harvesting of callaloo in maybe a week or so. I see the cucumber have some flowers, so I might be able to get a harvest out of this bed before we hit that cold spell. These okras haven't yet dried off, but oh, that one's good. Got it. I need to go over to that okra bed and see if I got anything in there that needs harvesting. So my focus is going to be on tomatoes in this bed, that bed, see if there's anything in the sweet potato bed needs harvesting. If not, I am going to work on the goji berries that I should have harvested last Friday. We're going to harvest those today. I harvest 2 acorn squash down there that's going to go in the house. I have several, about 3 watermelons, I think. No, 2 watermelons and a cantaloupe, and I think this cantaloupe is probably ready. So I'm going to harvest that. There is a cantaloupe right there, acorn squash right there, acorn squash right there. Another cantaloupe right there, but they're small, and I see I have some peppers to harvest. So I haven't done anything special with these tomatoes, just been ignoring them to the point where they're falling on the ground. And not so much because of neglect, but with the rain, it's hard to stay on top of the harvesting. So let's get those harvested and we'll see how much we got today. Alright, so I got some kale to harvest, Swiss chard to harvest. I noticed that my Brussels sprouts have started to put on Brussels. And my broccoli, I have about 4 heads, 1 here, 1 coming here, here. This one has gone to flowering, so I'm not going to harvest that. Hopefully I could harvest those 4. But I got some peppers that needs harvesting. This jalapeno has turned red, and that one. The roast compollo also have turned colors. I was right there. I have 1 here, 1 there. If you can see it, because I'm being visual. And this one right here. Now I was looking at Diva Jones' video, and she was talking about how the plant is a beautiful plant, in that the stem above, you notice the purple coloring, but then when you turn it over, it's a light green, and I thought that was cool. Anyway, fish pepper has also turned. I got some red ones here that could be harvested. And don't you love these beauty bells? Look at the color on those. But I need to harvest their stuff so I could take some to the pantry, because there's no way I could use up all this stuff here. Alright, I finished harvesting the goji berries from Berry Row, and I am leaving several on the plant. I figure the bugs and the birds need to eat too. I'm going to go inside, wash up what I harvest, and show you what I got. But let's do an inventory of what we harvest today from the garden. Alright, this is the peppers, tomatoes, cantaloupe, and acorn squash. And the okra I'm going to keep. The green beans, I'm going to keep some of those, but the majority are going to go to the pantry. I'm going to harvest the leafy vegetables tomorrow for the pantry. So let's go inside. So this is what the harvest ended up being. 2 of these snack size bags. This 1 cup bag. I'm going to add it to the other cup bag that we have in the freezer. That's about 4 cups. And in the winter months, I'm going to pull them out and I'm going to turn them into jam. So yeah, that's what the harvest looks like. Everything. It is Thursday, September the 25th, 2025, and it's 12:30, 72 degrees. I am inside because I'm getting ready to, obviously I'm inside, I am getting ready to prep my Jamaican pepper sauce. So let me tell you the ingredients and we'll go from there. Now, if you don't have mango, you could use cucumber. I have a cucumber from the garden, but since I have mango, I'm going to use mango. So I'll peel one of these and chop it up. So 2 cups of mango, half a cup of red onion, I gotta go get that, half a cup of rice wine vinegar, 1/4 cup of ginger, I have my ginger, and 1/4 cup of garlic. I have several garlic here, and then half a teaspoon of black Hawaiian sea salt. So this is my black Hawaiian sea salt. And the main ingredient would be your peppers. So I have about 8 Scotch bonnets and a whole bunch of the Creola Silla. Of all the peppers that I've harvested, not all. These 2 plus the jalapeno would be the spicy ones. Everything else is sweet. I have my blender here. I have 2 bowls. I need to make sure I'm using the liquid version. I have to go get my glasses. Anyway, okay, dry container. We don't need that. I have the one here for liquids. And I have my mashing tool. So already washed this mango. I am going to, as I said, peel it and dice it up. And then I'll bring you back. And it really isn't that hard for those of you that have not peeled a mango. You might want to get a smaller knife if you're a beginner in that journey. I did taste a piece of it and it's very sweet. I got my mango from Aldi and I don't think I'm going to need both. The recipe, as I said, called for, well, it did say 2 cups, so I might end up doing that. Now, you're going to cut all the flesh off of the seed. And what you don't get off of the seed, you can enjoy. But I'm not going to eat that now. We're gonna save that for later. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and use both of these mangoes. All right, now the other mango is as sweet as the first. However, it's not as ripe. It's still a little firm than the first one. No matter, it's gonna do the trick. So there are obviously several recipes out there for Jamaican pepper sauce. This is just my version. I found a recipe that I'm using and I am tailoring it to my liking. Now, you don't have to obviously use the black Hawaiian salt. You don't have to use mango. You don't have to use cucumber. And you definitely do not have to use rice wine vinegar. You could always substitute that for what you have on hand and make it your own. I'm just following a recipe that I came across, and I'm trying to do it as close to the recipe as possible. So I went and got my onion. These are onions I harvested from the garden a few weeks ago. Had them curing. Got that cut up. And then we're going to get this blended up. Now, I'm going to blend it up and then I'm going to go run an errand because I'm thinking that this is going to permeate the kitchen and I'm going to start sneezing. So let's get this started. All right, and it would seem I didn't have to use my pulsing tool. And I'm not yet sneezing, so let's open this up and do a bit of a taste test here. Yeah, that's hot. Now, when I did the ginger, it was more than what it is. The recipe said a cup of ginger. So I could definitely taste the strong flavor of the ginger. Could taste the mangoes because obviously I put more than 2 cups in there. I use 2 mangoes, but you could tell based on the size of the mangoes that it was definitely 2 cups or over. So this is what it's looking like. I'm going to get it in the jar and show you my Jamaican style pepper sauce. So I'm going to get some regular white vinegar, put some in here, run it through the blender one more time so I could get everything out of there. Or maybe I wouldn't. And it's spicy, y'all. Definitely spicy. Might want to cut back on that ginger if you don't like as much ginger as I prefer, because I pretty much cook everything with ginger. But yeah, let me get all this good stuff that's hiding behind these blades, scrape down and add it to my jar. If you're someone that don't like a lot of hot stuff, you might want to use less peppers than I did. All right, let's get that. Now that's gonna have me like a storm. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake it up. And there you go. You could see the speckles from the Scotch bonnets, the mango coloring, the Creola Cella coloring, and everything else in between. Now this is going to go in the fridge, and I'm going to utilize it in my meals going forward. Good everything. It is Friday morning, the 26th of September 2025, and it's about 9:30. And we're probably 70-ish degrees. So I figured I would come down here and get some breakfast going and show you my pepper sauce once again. So this is what breakfast consists of. I did sourdough toast. It's going to be half an avocado sprinkled with some salt. I fried an egg, and for that egg, shake up my little pepper sauce. And I'm going to put a good helping on my egg. And that's going to be breakfast, along with some what I call tea, but it's basically warm water that has been seeped in the skin of the pineapple. And typically, I will drink that in the morning when I make it, and it aids in inflammation. I'm not a doctor. I'm just telling you what works for me. And then I decided I need to start prepping my okra that was harvested 2 days ago. So I washed those, cut those up. I have some garlic, some grated ginger, some tomato from the garden, onion from the garden, roast compollo pepper that I need to cut up from the garden, and I'm going to fry this up. I washed the pan that the egg was fried in, and I'm going to fry this up and have it for lunch. So let me get it started. Anyway, so while the pan warms up, and this is sitting here getting cold, let's sample that. See, you have a good helping of the pepper. I had some last night on my dinner. It was delicious. The mango, because of how sweet it was, it's giving me that spiciness in my mouth, and as it goes down my throat, it's cool and soothing. So it's not, I have had hotter pepper sauce. So on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd probably give it a 6, but it's delicious. Now I am cutting the seeds out of the pepper because I'm going to save it and utilize it at a later date. And that's what I'm doing. Now, when you cut okra up, trying to avoid the sliminess, I typically wash it, dry it good, and that to me eliminates some of the sliminess. You can also change the knife as you're cutting it if you find that it's getting slimy. And never cover your pot or pan as you're frying it, because condensation on the lid will then add to the okra getting slimy. So just a few tips that I found that helps me out. All right, it's now 4:30 and I decided it's time for supper. So here's my fried okra. So okra naturally has a sweetness when eaten raw. but the way we cook it in the islands is you char it, and that just enhances that sweetness that the okra has. So I am going to add me some more pepper sauce. I know previously I said I'd give it a 6. I think I'm gonna go to a 5. And what I'll do is, as I keep harvesting some more peppers, specifically the Creola Stella, I am going to add to this simply by taking the peppers, maybe adding a mango and more vinegar, and just continue to replenish until all my pepper is gone. Now when I say all the pepper is gone, I'm talking about the fresh pepper out of the garden, not the pepper sauce. So I harvested some more of my peas, and we have in here cowpeas, iron and clay, and several others. Names escape me right now, but this is what I harvested today. So I'm going to put it in this jar, and this is my harvest so far for the season. This jar is almost filled, and I'm sure I could fill it up because I have some more in the garden that will be harvested. Now this, you could either make you some peas and can it, or we like to do rice and peas, so that's what this is going to be used for, rice and peas. It says beans, but actually peas is what these are. Anyway, I want to say thanks for stopping by. Trust everyone had a blessed day, an awesome week, and a fantastic weekend. And the ancestors willing, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.